Are you wondering what kind of freebies you should actually create to grow your email list that people are actually going to download, right? Like what's going to make them irresistible so your ideal audience can't help but download them, and ultimately it's going to help you grow your email list. So that's what we're going to chat about in this video. And real quick, we actually have a free email marketing class happening this week. So if you're interested in joining us, the link will be right below in the description of this video. If you're watching this video later on, totally fine, because we'll have an on-demand replay available of that free class. So be sure to go down to that link anyways, and you can watch the on-demand replay as well. So when it comes to freebies, there's really a lot of different directions you can go as far as what you create and offer to your audience. And some of this is going to be some trial and error. Some of this is going to be figuring out like what's your specific audience and what do they enjoy, right? But the main types of like freebie formats that I like to think about when I'm thinking about freebies is there's downloads. This could be like ebooks, templates, checklists, guides, etc. There can be quizzes. So like someone takes a quiz and then to get their results, they put in their email address, which is what makes it a freebie, right? Gets them on your email list. There's free video training. So this could be like replays of webinars. This could be master classes or, pre-recorded trainings that you put together, right? So there's really a lot of different ways outside of that too, like waitlists and even just general, like join my newsletter. So like ways to subscribe to your list. But essentially the point of freebies is, at least in my mind, is to give immense value to your potential subscriber. And even something like going a little further than that I've been implementing in my own business this year is how can we create freebies that are one, irresistible, right? So like when someone sees it, they're like, oh my goodness, I have to download this. And two, once they do download it, that they think, wow, this was so much value that I really feel like I should have paid at least something for this. And that's not to say that you should be giving away like so much information in your freebie that like it almost negates the value of your paid offers, but making sure that the freebies you are giving aren't something that's just like generic or they could probably Google, but something that's actually truly valuable. So freebies are really one of the best ways to grow your email list, right? Because you're giving away something super valuable for someone to give you something super valuable, which is their email address, and for them to trust that you're going to treat them with respect and their inbox with respect, right? And so just making sure you're really valuing that. And we found that freebies, and just in general with email marketing, like freebies will grow your email list so much faster than just a general like sign up for my email list, because you're giving something for free that's valuable in exchange for their email address, right? So when it comes to this idea of making them irresistible, there's a few things I like to think about. And also this kind of more relates to like, okay, so once we get past the format of the freebie, like whether it's going to be a template or a quiz or a webinar replay, like what's the topic of the freebie? Like what should I be sharing about? What's the topic? Like what's the idea behind the freebie that someone's going to actually want to download it that makes it a no-brainer for them to download it? And so the first thing I like to think about is what relates to your specific ideal client and niche. And I know this is kind of go back to the basics, but it's just like sometimes so easy to lose sight of this. And creating a freebie that relates to your niche, relates to what maybe potentially you want to pitch to your customer, right? What do you want to offer? I can give this example. For me, when I'm thinking about creating freebies right now, a lot of our paid offers are surrounding social media marketing, growing your business online with email marketing, course creation, or even showing up on YouTube. And that's a lot of what our paid offers are, and like content creation and organic marketing and marketing your business. And so for me, creating a freebie around, for example, how to choose a branding photographer doesn't necessarily like relate to my niche and isn't going to attract people who are ready to invest in information that is related to the freebie, right? Like that doesn't totally align with my business and what it is, versus if it was a branding photographer creating that freebie, that would totally align with their niche and like what they're all about, right? So just going back to the basics, make sure that the freebie relates to your niche and what ultimately you want to sell in a paid offer for your ideal customer. The second thing I like to think about is what topics or things that you talk about with your audience already resonates really well with them. Like for example, we know Instagram Reels resonates really, really well with our audience. And not only that, but we have paid offers on the back end for Instagram Reels. And so it's finding like what are those like that quicker win or transformation that's still really impactful that I can put into an ebook or a list or a template that we can offer for free to our audience that gives such great value to them. And so something to think about, and this is also why I'm also just such a big fan of content marketing, right? Because you get such great feedback from your audience on one, like engagement wise, what tends to do really well, what you tend to get like comments and DMs back about, right? And just like creating that conversation with your audience online. You can also think about like the clients you work with, the customers you work with. What are the questions you get asked about a lot, right? What are the things that come up over over and over again that are general themes of what people want to know and what relates to like an ebook you can create or a template you can create or a quiz you can create, right? And yeah, and just like how it relates to that. Something else I like to think about, and this is almost going to in the direction of like how can you create a freebie that's not only valuable but also easy for you to create and for you to put out there. I like to think about templates or lists or things we're already doing and using in our business, and how can we package that up into a freebie. So, and maybe it's not even like here's, you know, a freebie with like all 30 of my email templates that I use for coaching or for my floral business, but what are maybe the top 3 email templates that maybe you could provide in a freebie, and then the full 30 email templates is an upsell or a tripwire that you can do on the back end. And so yeah, so just thinking about like what are the things you're already doing and using, and like people might be asking about like what templates are you using or what presets are you using, or there's so many different things like directions you could go here depending on your niche, but thinking about that. And sometimes the more like tactical actionable things that people can just take and apply, like what's a workflow template they can apply or something along those lines, can be more impactful than just an ebook with a bunch of information. Another thing I like to think about is, and this might even require that you do a little bit of market research, but really looking at what are the common freebies out there in your industry and how can you make something different, right? And maybe not even just more valuable, but like something that can make you stand out because of the type of freebie it is. Like, does no one else in your industry do quizzes? Create a quiz for your ideal audience, right? Maybe no one else in your industry is offering any free templates. Offer a couple of free templates. Like, look at what other people are doing, and you can use that as like guidance too of like maybe what's working, and you can even test with your own audience to see what works with freebies. But also making sure like make it different. Like, don't, you know, if every other, for example, if every other like Instagram educator out there is providing a let's say free Reels cover photo templates. This is just an example. No one's doing that, I don't think. But if everyone else is doing that, like don't also create that, because it's not really going to make you different or stand out, or like why would they download yours versus others, you know? So just making sure that they're different in that way. And something else that I also want to mention here when it comes to creating different freebies is don't be afraid to create new freebies. I'm a huge fan of like, I don't think you have to create a new freebie every single month or anything like that if you don't want to, but I also don't think that, you know, you have to only create 2 freebies and that has to be the freebies that work for you for years. Like, it's okay to create new ones, especially if you create one and you find it's just not resonating with your audience and not really growing your email list very effectively. And in fact, I would encourage you to create multiple different freebies and just see what resonates. Like, I know for us, I've heard so many people say like their quizzes like drive the most email list leads and signups out of any of their freebies, but we haven't really found that to be true for us. And it's just interesting how like different audiences or different niches can be so different. And we found to be like those template freebies to be very impactful and the webinar replay freebies to be very impactful. So it's just try different things and don't be afraid to create new things. Or if a freebie is really not working for you, just kind of put it on the back burner and not push it as much. Like, we've totally done that before, and it's totally okay like to create new ones and to move freebies in and out of your business based on how well they're performing, or even just based on your current business goals. Maybe you decide to shift things, like you can move a freebie out of the picture if you want to. And then another thing I like to think about when I'm creating freebies that I think is really important, often overlooked, is kind of looping back to the beginning of this video when I talked about making sure that your freebies relate to your paid offers and your niche and your ideal client, right? And the reason why this is so important, because you want your freebies to be driving revenue. And there's a lot of ways you can do this, right? But with freebies specifically, you can add a tripwire to a freebie. So when someone downloads your freebie, immediately redirects them to an offer, usually a low ticket offer that they're being pitched. And that can convert really well and lead to actual revenue. And the reason why I mention this is because if you're not creating freebies related to your niche and your paid offers, it's going to be a lot harder to monetize with the freebies and the email list subscribers you're gaining, because they're not joining because they're interested in the topics that you're actually sharing about, that you have paid offers about. So just make sure it loops back to that, because on the back end, you want to make sure you're able to drive revenue with tripwires or funnels or, you know, other ways of monetizing your email list, right? And so just making sure you're attracting the right people that ultimately you can sell them on paid offers. And if you're interested in learning more about email marketing in this way, be sure to join that free email marketing class. The link is right below in the description. I am literally so excited to go live with you guys this week about email marketing. It's gonna be so much fun. So if you're interested, be sure to go to that link, join us live on this Thursday. But if you don't make it live, totally fine. We're gonna immediately like turn it and have the on-demand replay available after the class so you guys can tune in. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about with freebies or email marketing, be sure to drop a comment below. We would love to help you guys out. And I will see you guys in next week's video on Tuesday. Bye guys.